and all the others like them is creatures. But Allah is the one who controls everything, and they hope from Him in this life, and they hope from Him in the hereafter, because He is the Lord of this life and the Lord of the hereafter. So when Allah alone is mentioned, they are happy. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran talked about the believers when they hear the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إنما المؤمنون, they are the believers when they hear the oneness of Allah azza wa jal. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله, when Allah, the oneness, the only one God, is mentioned, وجلت قلوب الذين, the same thing, Allah azza wa jal informing us with this same thing, informing us about their hearts. Likewise, He informed us about the hearts of the disbelievers, about the hearts of the idolaters. Now He is informing us about the hearts of the believers. وجلت قلوب الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة وجلت قلوب الذين إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. Their heart is deprehensive, becomes deprehensive when they hear the oneness of Allah azza wa jal. What does it mean, wajilat? Meaning that they fear Him, they respect Him, and they hope from Him. وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ. The believers are not all hope regarding Allah azza wa jal, and they are not certain, and they do not say, for example, Allah will forgive me. No way, He will forgive me. I am hopeful about Him in extent that He will forgive me. No way. No, this is you cannot guarantee for yourself about the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have to forgive you. No. He is the one who controls everything. You have to respect Him. You have to say that, I hope Allah forgive me, but I'm not sure about this. I hope, but I at the same time supplicate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I beg Him, oh my Lord, please forgive me. If you are sure, you will not beg Him. If you are sure, you will not say, oh Allah, forgive me. You know that you have already forgiven, and He must forgive you. Why? Why Allah must forgive you? You cannot be, and this is disrespectful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is istikbar. This is a pride, and Allah do not allow it. Consider about it. Put yourselves in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and think about it. Your servant is sure about you, and he do not give any chance that you cannot forgive him. No, you should forgive him. This is istikbar, and this is not comes out of respect. This is according Islam, according Quran. This is disrespectful way, and Allah will not forgive them. Allah forgive those who are in hope, who are hopeful regarding their God, but at the same time they do know that Allah may not forgive them. He has all the right to not forgive them, because they have already did many sins, many crimes regarding subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the night, in the day, they say, oh Allah, please forgive us. They are needy to the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until the moment they hear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He forgive them. They have that fear in their hearts. This is the way of Islam. We have the both emotion in our heart. We have both of them, the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not sure about one of them. We cannot say Allah will not forgive me. I'm sure about it. The way of kufr. إنه لا ييأس من روح الله إلا القوم الكافرون. No one despair the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only those whom are disbelievers. According to Quran, the disbelievers only, those despise and they are hopeless about the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the way of kufr. And the opposite also is the way of kufr. Those who are sure that they have already rescued themselves. They have already had many posts in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah had forgiven them. There is no talk about it. They are sure this is the way of kufr. No one can guarantee this way. When they say that Allah has already informed them about this, they are lying. Allah will judge between His servants in the hereafter. Malik yawmiddin. At that day, the day of judgment, when all the people are resurrected and brought back before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before that day, no one can say that he has already rescued himself and he is in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has some post in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has already given some authorities from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can say this, and no one can take the advantage of the saying, of the rumor of this. He should say, I'm not that one. I do not claim that thing. I am bashar mithlukum. I am a human being like you, and I am in need of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like you, and I beg Him like you, and I do not have any authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not share with me any authority. He should say explicitly, he should say manifestly this, declare to the people. He should not use that advantage. If he do not himself claiming that, maybe his followers claiming that about him and using this advantage is the same, will bring the same result. The way of kufr, using the advantage of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, using the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bringing himself, presenting himself as someone who has given some authorities from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, this is tazkiyah. Purifying themselves is kufr in Islam. No one can purify himself according to his deed. No one can put his deed on the table and say, I have already done many goodness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I have completed my servants, and Allah had already given to me some authorities. This is tazkiyah, purifying themselves, purifying himself. أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ يُزَكُّونَ أَنفُسَهُم. Look how they are purifying themselves, those whom are purifying themselves. بَلِ اللَّهُ يُزَكِّي مَن يَشَاءُ. No, Allah will purify whom He wants at that day. No one can purify himself. No one can put himself in a point, in a post, and wants to rule over the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of us are creatures, and Allah is testing all of us, and our deeds will be appreciated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by ourselves. Our deeds will not be enough in order to receive the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in order to receive the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we are in reality should do the goodness and we should respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no need to be reward for these deeds. The reward will come as an extra, as a bonus from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we are not deserving the Jannah, deserving any reward through our deeds. The reward will come out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So no one can show us his deeds and wants us to believe that he is he had received the mercy of Allah, he had received the loyalty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is an ally with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah had already given him some authorities. No. Our Prophet himself said to his companions one day, no one can admit Jannah. Allah will not admit, no one can enter Jannah through his deeds, out of his deeds. No deeds will be sufficient to enter Jannah. The companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, even you, O Prophet of Allah, even you, O Apostle of Allah. He said, yes, even me, I will not enter Jannah through my deeds. إلا أن ولا أنا, even I, إلا أن يتغمدني الله برحمة منه. But if Allah have mercy on me, يتغمدني, have a widely mercy on me, through that mercy, I hope that I will enter Jannah. Look, the Prophet himself, he is in the position of respectfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and knows that all the things in the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is one day said that if Allah had taken me and the Jesus Christ and put us in hellfire, we cannot say that Allah did wrong with us. We have already did many respectfulness, many wrongs, small or anything. We have many shortcomings. If Allah put us in hellfire, we cannot say that Allah crimed regarding us, did caused injustice about us. No, He has all the right to do whatever He wants about us. We should stay at that point, full respectful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and abandoning all the judgment in His hand, and hoping mercy from Him with fear from His punishment. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.